the way that our Tibetan yoga works, which we call Tsalung Trungkor. So there's Tsa means channels, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. Lung means kind of vital breath or breath energy, as I'm translated in my book. If you come from a yoga, Hatha yoga or Indian-based yoga tradition, it's related to prana. If you come from a Chinese mind-body tradition, it's like qi. So the idea is to really get more familiar with that lung, that it's circulating through the channels. And then Trungkor, which means magical movements. So it's the magical movements of and breath energy and channels. And I think it's interesting, this word energy, in the Tibetan tradition, we use it a lot. And we use it a lot because, although in the last 20 years, I've been working more in a Western hospital, MD Anderson, which is a cancer center in Houston. And when we started bringing these practices, they call them mind-body. And usually in integrative medicine, that's the word that they use for these practices, mind-body practices. And in the Eastern traditions, and particularly I'll talk, of course, from the Tibetan side, we actually call them mind, energy, body. And energy is both kind of the link of mind and body, and its expression as breath and sound. So, when I hear, maybe we'll talk about energy, and people are very comfortable with the word energy. I know when I talk in the hospital, some people are like, energy? It's kind of, even in integrative medicine, when you look at the categories, energy medicine is always the one that people are more skeptical about. However, what's interesting, I remember I was presenting in Shanghai for a Society of Integrative Oncology conference. And when I was presenting about Trungkor and some of the research that we were doing at MD Anderson, the person who was in charge of the National Center at that time was called for Complementary Alternative Medicine, and particularly for the cancer part, he was saying, so when you talk about these practices, energy medicine is there. There seems to be something more than mind-body. And I said, yeah, energy, lung is so important. Prana, chi is so important. So we will do a lot of breathing because breathing is crucial for the vitality of this practice. So when we're moving, when we're doing these movements, when we get to the movements, it's not just about movements. Lopontin Lenima, who helped me a lot as I was writing my dissertation, which was on Trungkor, was saying how when we do these movements, and you'll see that in the Tibetan tradition, it's not fixed asanas, but it's movement, that when we do these movements, that yes, just doing the movements can be a lot of fun. He said it's like children playing. But if you don't have the other aspects, it's not as meaningful, it's not as profound. So what we do in the Tibetan tradition of yoga, we start by meditation, then we bring the breath, then we bring the movements.